about this. You want to go down to the Red Box and get a video and an ice cream and go home and not have to worry about this stuff. Gentlemen cry for peace, but I'm telling you, there is no peace. The fight is here, and it's here now. And if you don't believe that, wait until they hang the meter on your well. Wait till your gas tax goes up another $2 a gallon. My wife just opened the bill, their electric bill. We own a small town radio station in Wairika, California as well. And by the way, I'm a pilot. I flew around the world for 25 years. I served as a military contractor in 6 wars for the United States government. And I know what liberty is like. I've been to every socialist paradise on earth, and I can tell you where governments work and where they don't work and why. They don't work because people aren't adequately represented, period. That's it. That sounds pretty simple, but that's the way it is. And so, will we be stronger next week? The answer is no. So, you cry for peace and compromise, but there is none. The war is here. Listen to Sacramento. Listen to your chains as they approach you from the south. And they're nothing less than chains. Because if you bind a person's liberty, if you tax them out of their property, is that freedom? Can you enjoy the things you work your life for? Do you have a hope of passing those on to your children? Do your children have a hope of staying here? How many people in this room have kids that moved away because they can't make a living here? Quite a few hands going up. How many of those kids are coming back? None. Because their chains that bind them are not tolerable to them. They're going someplace where they can have liberty and make a living, hopefully. And I hope they make it. So, we're not alone. We won't fight this fight alone, he said to the Virginians. He said there is a just God who stands with us. And we have to depend on that God to know the wisdom of this plan and to follow through with it. And 6 counties are in the fight right now. You're not alone. There are 6 counties with you, and we're talking to 10 more. And we may not end up with all of those 10. But we'll end up with enough of them for a viable state. So you're not alone. Lassen is not alone in this fight. We'll be here for you. We'll show you what works, what doesn't work. We'll be anywhere you need us to be to help you fight the fight here. Because it is you that's going to have to do this. I can't come here and do this for you, and I won't. If you want liberty, stand for it. And then he finally closes. He closes by saying, what would gentlemen want? What do people want? In a perfect world, what do you want for yourselves? What do you want out of your life? What do you want out of your government? And he says, is life so dear or peace so sweet that it would be purchased at the price of chains? Almighty God forbid it, for I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Yes. So Patrick Henry knew, and he knew the price of it. And then Sam Adams, he had the best line I thought ever. First of all, you know, we talked about the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot, basically, right? And it's people who stand for this country that have a slice of the pie of liberty coming to them. But Sam Adams put it best because he said, if you love wealth better than freedom, if you love your money better than your liberty, go from us in peace. And crouch down and lick the hand that feeds you. We seek not your counsel nor your arms. May your chains rest lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that we ever called you countrymen. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for 51.
Okay, guys, a couple quick things. I know it's a little warm. First of all, we're not funded by the Koch brothers, and there's no funding for any of this, which means that some certain folks in your town went ahead and rented this place, bought some waters and that sort of stuff. We're not taking any money here, okay? These guys basically put up that money, so if you got a buck or two or anything like that, if you throw it in the can, the guys are going to start passing the can around right now.
And that just pays for the room.
Pays for the room and the waters and whatever else these folks bought. The thing we do have here today is we've got gear back there. Now, there's great people. Barbara Keeling sells this gear. Hildy sells this gear, there's a lot of people that sell this gear. I'm selling it today for only $10, and that's just because of the fact that we want to get it on people. We make a couple bucks and that's it, at most. But the idea to get it on people, so the shirts, the hats, the flags, they're $10, unless you're a double X like me, and then they're 15. But anyway, these guys are going to pass around these cans right now, and while they do that, we're going to begin to take questions. And the way we're going to work it on the questions, oh, one thing, Sally, just inside your flyer here, you have got a yellow sheet. Everybody got this golden sheet inside your flyer? Okay, that I believe is your Board of Supervisors. Okay, you might want to call them. And the first thing that we would do is, get a feel of where they're coming from. But if they want a presentation, Mark will be happy to come here and give a presentation. This is not a discussion item or an action item, just a simple presentation so they can ask their questions and get whatever information that they would still need.
And by the way, I'm giving presentations in Lake County and Trinity County in the next 4 weeks.
Yes. There's 2 more counties that are asking for presentations. So what we're going to do now, I hope I didn't get anything, we will take questions and I will stand over here and hold the microphone. And what we want to do is ask questions. It's not about statements, because everybody, if you have a question, you want to get it answered, right? And we'll take a few of these so that, folks can go ahead and get those answered.
So please feel free to come up to Terry and get the microphone.
Yeah, you do that.
Ma'am, if you're not mobile, go ahead and ask from there. I can hear you. If you have a question, I can hear you.
I had, hang on a second, hang on.
Works for me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had 2 questions. Number one, when she talked about the school system, she mentioned we only have 1 high school, and so Fort Sage does not enter into that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Fort Sage does not enter into the high school system? Because my son graduated from Fort Sage.
Okay,
That's out in her law.
Can you repeat the question, Terry? I can't understand it. Can you?
Okay, let me try. When you were talking about the education system, and you said there was only 1 high school in Lassen County, what does that doesn't include Fort Sage High School?
Okay, that was Barbara.
That was Barbara. He didn't, what are you, okay, so.
Well, no, I don't know how many high schools.
We don't know how many high schools you have in your county. Talk to Barbara.
The number of high schools you have will be up to you to decide, not up to the state.
Well, the whole thing is that the educational system and everything that happens in your county will go back to the counties. See, that's the thing about stuff like this. Okay, let me finish before you formulate a question. Let me finish. Okay, the thing is that basically, when you have a situation where you have education, you have roads and those types of things, that will be up to the county. And many of those things are going to happen during the Constitutional Convention. So any question like that would be something you would decide at the county level on how you run your education.
So now we're talking about Fort Sage. That's government. What about her law?
Okay, well, here, once again, now, PILT money will fund education. And you have a tremendous amount of resources. And also, by the way, the state LAO report says that about 90% of the water comes from the state of Jefferson. So we have a tremendous amount of potential here to generate revenue for education. And yes, in all probability, you can have 2 high schools, but that would be up to your county's Board of Education to decide, not the state. Well, now you're talking about that's on a federal installation.
Yeah, it's a federal installation.
Feds are the feds. Federal money will, the state of Jefferson will be a state like any other, sir. And so any federal money that comes to any state will come to the state of Jefferson as well. So that high school won't be changed at all. It's still going to be funded by the federal government. Okay.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for showing up today.
Very welcome.
I like the whole concept and the idea. The one issue that you guys brought up, I'm not sold on, is prisons. And there's no way that California is going to pay full price up here if we're a different state. And they send people to Tennessee, Arizona, Mississippi for for half the price.
First of all, this is the only level 4 in California. Where's the other one?
I worked in the department for 31 years. I worked with SAC, CSP SAC, corporate, Kern Valley State
But those
Prison,
are also,
Salinas
those
Valley
are also overcrowded, right? And let me tell you.
What I'm saying is they're sending inmates out of state to other prisons for half the price. There's two prisons in this county, and there's a third one in Delaware County. And it's going to impact all three of those prisons, and I think that's why our board of supervisors have to address this
I
issue.
doubt very seriously they'll withdraw the prisoners from Jefferson when they're willing to send them to Tennessee. For half the price plus transport?
Every day. They do it every day.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see all that.
You know what I'd like to do?
We'll check the records of California for you.
You know what, sir? I'd like to talk to you more because, in other words, if there is a plan that the COs can participate in so that we can make sure this works for them, that's what we want to do. Because, once again, I'm dead serious. I am a deputy sheriff. I don't want to see correctional officers in danger, and I don't want to see them take a pay cut. But I'm sure that amongst all of us, we can come up with a plan to where those employees are protected and their jobs are protected. Thank you. I appreciate the question. Thank you, sir.
My question is, if we withdraw from the state, how are we guaranteed a statehood as a 51st state? Are we going to become just a territory for a while?
No. There is no constitutional provision to take a part of a state that was formerly a state and make it into a territory. The only way you can go is from state to being a state. So no, we would not be a territory. There's no legal precedent, no constitutional precedent for that. And once again, state split has been done 4 times already. And each time, they were states created from other states. So yeah, don't worry about that.
Does that require approval by the United States government then?
It requires 51% vote by California and 51% by Congress. But before you think about this, I've already talked to congressmen. And if conservatives retake the Senate in 14 and 16, they're going to let us in.
Hi, it's my understanding that it costs $100 million each year to support the prisons. How would that, and that would be every year. And as a new state, how would we come up with that money?
Well, once again, 97% of the money would come from the state that would have to house their prisoners.
Well, I understand that, but would it be enough?
Well, yeah, 97% of $100 million is $97 million. All we have to come up with is $3 million. And PILT money alone would pay that.
Okay, and then I also, are we going to have a sales tax and a state tax?
We have an 88-page financial analysis, and we have analyzed the situation with 0 sales tax, 1%, 5%, and so on. And so what we favor is, and what we theorize, and once again, the state constitutional convention will have to decide all of this. It's not up to us to say how everyone is going to live. But our model says with 5% or less in sales tax, 1% property tax, and 0 state income tax will be profitable.
That's good. And one last question. As Southern California starts going broke, what's to stop the migration of the welfare people up into the state of Jefferson?
Well, first of all, we have to be moral people or liberty doesn't work. But second of all, we have to envision a state government where we limit state welfare programs so that communities, in other words, the way welfare was handled in the past was by churches and community service groups. And because why? Because you know who your neighbors are that need help. And what we imagine is a state government where community service groups handle any food that's distributed, clothing that's distributed, any charitable contributions, so that people who need help truly get it, but people who don't deserve it don't get it. And I can tell you probably 90% of the welfare was moved to Sacramento where the paychecks better.
Thank you.
But federal programs are federal programs. If the feds want to blow the dough on programs, we'll certainly administer those programs with a much smaller share for administration. And also on the tax situation, What we would like to see is we would like to see the county auditor and tax collector collect all the taxes and then send the state what the state is doing, period. Instead of the state collecting the taxes and giving the county back what they think they deserve. So the revenues, and we have 8 or 10 other revenue schemes that will generate revenue for the general fund without affecting the taxpayer.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
All right, thank you for coming. We have in our state CAL FIRE, and in this area we have BLM and Forest Service helping us fight fires. What's going to happen to that?
Well, I'm really glad you asked that question, because under the Enabling Acts and the Equal Footing Acts, all new states have the right, the undeniable right, to enter the national stage on equal footing. There are 9 western states right now that have a real challenge going in order to reclaim federally managed state lands for beneficial use. That's BLM land. And Alaska was the last precedent. They got 4.9 million acres of federal land handed back to the state, and they placed that in beneficial use, which paid for the startup of the state of Alaska. You know, the thing is, every job that Southern California has, every job that California has, we also have. I mean, we have them in smaller numbers, but typically we have them. We're going to need a state firefighting agency, that's for sure. We're going to need road work, we're going to need prison guards, we're going to need policemen, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, nurses. We're going to need all those things. None of that's going to change. The difference is we will have a regulatory environment and a business environment that attracts new enterprise, attracts jobs, and attracts economy, so that we'll have the money to pay for those things without borrowing or taxing people to death. We will still have a state firefighting agency. We will still have a drug task force. But for example, one of the ideas we floated with our sheriff and other sheriffs, if we need a state drug task force, why can't each sheriff's department ask for volunteers, and each sheriff's department in the 15 counties provide 3 volunteers for 1 year to act as the state drug task force? Why can't the most experienced firefighters from each county spend 1 year on a rotating basis to act as advisors to the state firefighting agencies? There are so many ways we can be more efficient. California has 570 plus state agencies. As a small rural state with 1 million people, heck, we could probably make it with, I don't know, 261 of them. So we have ideas for all of that. But also, we welcome plans and suggestions from guys like you. If you have knowledge of firefighting, if you have knowledge of how that structure should be set up, please get a hold of someone and let's start writing that plan so that it's efficient, it protects the employee, it protects the taxpayer, and it's going to work.
But I'm not sure what you said about CAL FIRE. Does that mean we have to pay CAL FIRE?
No, that means we'll have our own state firefighting agency. And what we'll do is we'll give all the best guys in CAL FIRE a chance to switch over to CAL Jeff, or Jeff Fire, or whatever you want to call it. And a lot of them will stay, because I'll tell you, I know a lot of firefighters and I know a lot of cops, and most of them like liberty.
How much money do you anticipate starting out with to do all these things?
We can't know that exactly because we don't know how many counties are going to join, but our forecast is our economy will be 15% bigger than the state of New Mexico on the first day. But once again, we're poor, right? And we can't do this because we're poor. Why is it okay to be poor in the state of California with nowhere to go but down, but not okay to start out poor in Jefferson with nowhere to go but up? So we may start out without all the money we want, but I'm telling you, it's going to start dramatically from day one going up. You know, that what the German kid told me, and also I talked to a reporter from Tokyo who did a story, and he said, the Tokyo guy especially, and I've been there many times, and I know this is true, Japanese people love the West. Germans love the West. They love anything Western. Every Japanese and German tourist in the world would be flocking to Jefferson to see what liberty looks like. Heck, the bump in tourism alone would probably help us through the first 5 years. I'm not worried about the economy at all. Thank you.
Good questions.
What about such issues as the water that we're sending to south? And, they're already talking about resurrecting the peripheral canal and all that sort of thing.
Now, one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to jump on the stump and scare anybody into thinking that Jefferson will have its hand on the big water faucet. That's not our intent. However, the Equal Footing Act and several Supreme Court cases, and I have a list here somewhere I can ferret through afterwards and find it for you. The Equal Footing Act, which is a Supreme Court decision, and the Enabling Act says that all states enter on an equal footing. And so, all issues are on the table, including water. All issues. Look, a great many things are possible if we have our own state. A great many things, none of which are possible if we keep doing things the same way but expecting a different result. We would certainly be in a position to renegotiate Central Valley Project water for beneficial use for the people of Jefferson. And by the way, I don't find anywhere in the Constitution where a fish or a frog are more important than people, and it certainly won't be so in Jefferson. I believe in careful stewardship of the land and the environment. I'm a rancher myself. The last thing on earth I want to see is a devastated environment. But there are ways of doing that without breaking people's backs, and that's what we're going to be about.
Great, thank you. Okay, I think that about wraps it up. Joe, are you still in here? Joe, are you still in here?
Thank you, everybody, for spending your Sunday with us. We sure appreciate it. And hopefully you can help us do something here. It's time to do something. Call your supervisors, and all you have to say is, I voted for you, I favor state split, and I'd like you to support it. That's all you got to say.
The reason I ask if Joe is here, because maybe if a couple of you guys would just grab chairs, I think they need to be stacked up or something, and maybe if we all pitch in and do that, it'd be great. Anyway, thank you all very much. Thank you.